What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Good morning. It's another lovely day. It is Sunday. It is football day. Ravens are frustrating, but anyways, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Today's story today, we're going to be talking about my trip to Germany and how I ended up there, why I went, all kinds of good stuff. Stick around. Please, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Like always, let's get into this. Okay, so my first deployment to Iraq. About halfway through, you get this thing. It is called R&R, rest and relaxation. A lot of it's randomly drawn to see when you give, like when you go and you take this R&R thing. But mine fell around like the 7-month mark of our deployment. And we ended up being there for 12 months, but we were extended 3. So that's technically 15 months downrange or in theater. So I remember that process of going back home, and that's where most people go. Most people go home to America, get to see their families. That's what I did. You repeat the whole process. You go from Iraq to Kuwait, Kuwait to some other country, probably Ireland or somewhere to do a layover. Then you cross the pond, go across the Atlantic, go see your family. That's what I did. I remember getting back. And I flew on like an odd day of the week. All right. So there was nobody really around. My mom and dad, like my brother, of course, and like people came to see me. I really couldn't hang out with my friends much. It wasn't really that exciting. You have to go back to Iraq. It was a little bit of time away from the monotony of the grind of being in Iraq and things like that. But it was sad to leave. My mom was very emotional. My dad was upset. I mean, they know you're going back to that shitville. So that's where you're going back to. And they know that. So my mom was upset. That was the first thing. That was my first time in R&R going, from Iraq to home and visiting, have to go back. Anyways, let's get into the next bit here. So my second deployment. Now you gotta realize I've been in the Army almost 4 years at this point for my second deployment. And I was actually stop lost for my second deployment, which means I was supposed to get out of the Army during that time we were deployed, about like 7 months in. I was supposed to be out. My time in the military has done. My contractual agreement, what I signed up for, was over. All right. It was actually 4 years and I think 17 weeks I signed up. The 17 weeks for the basic training or infantry school, all that. And 4 years of active duty service. And then I had some inactive time. It's like National Guard or Reserve, but if you just had to qualify for that. Like you didn't actually have to go to a National Guard unit or anything. So let's get into this. So stop loss means you're not getting out. You're going to do this deployment with us. Another thing, the Army throws a curveball at you. I got a letter. It said, hey, Department of the Army says you are going to do this deployment. We know you're supposed to be out. We're going to pay you extra money, which they did. I think it was an extra like $1,000 a month or whatever. But like, you're going to do this deployment too. I was stop lost with a bunch of other guys that were supposed to get out. We were not happy about this. We wanted to get out of the military. We knew that we weren't lifers. We weren't going to do 20 years. We knew we weren't going to re-enlist. We knew we were going to get out. So our second deployment, a lot different from our first. That's all we did was patrols. We took over an Iraqi prison. We kind of tried to train these train these IP or Iraqi police to actually be soldiers. And that's what we did. And we did patrols every day with these guys. That's what we did our second deployment. It was in an area called Mosul that's in northern Iraq. That's a shitville. But anyways, so we are going through this second deployment. A lot of us are bitter that we have to do it because we're like, fuck it, we're supposed to be out right now. Like, I'm supposed to be on the couch. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter. We did it. I was with my unit. I was with the guys I originally trained with and went through the Army with. I was happy to be around them guys because the first deployment, I wasn't able to do that. So we're getting to that time in that deployment when I'm supposed to take R&R. It was around like, I think the 8-month mark. I'm talking to my buddy Cabby, talking to my other friends. my buddy Cabby, he had been in Germany prior. Like, that was his actual duty station. He was telling me all this cool shit about it, how he loved it, how it was an awesome time. So I asked him, I was like, man, I'd like to go to Germany. And he's like, dude, you should go, man. It's a really cool time. And I said, man, well, I wonder if I could go there on R&R. He's like, what, like not go back home? I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, last time I went, that shit was depressing as fuck. And I'm not trying to do that shit again. He's like, I don't know, man. So I asked my platoon sergeant, Sergeant Siebert. I was like, hey, Sergeant, I'm just kind of curious, where can I go on R&R? And he kind of looks at me, he's like, what the fuck do you mean, where can you go? You're going to go home, right? And I was like, I mean, like, what options do I have? He's like, well, you can't go to, like, North Korea. You can't go to Iraq or Kuwait. Like, you know, can't go to any of them places. I said, well, what about Germany? He's like, why do you want to go to Germany? I think I made up some bullshit excuse, like I had some friends there or something. He's like, I mean, if you want to, I'm pretty sure they'll allow you to go. Like, we have military bases all through Germany. And if you ever notice this, guys, anybody we've ever had a war with or a conflict with, we have a duty station there. We have duty stations in Japan. We have duty stations in Korea. We have duty stations all over the world, especially those people that have kind of tried to buck on us in history, okay? So I started making plans. How do I get to Germany? How do we do this? Let's think about this. Do we want to go? Here we go. All right, so let's do this. I don't know anybody in Germany. I don't know anybody in Germany. I could have went anywhere. So this is what I did. I'm a crazy guy for doing this, but I did it. This is back in the days where like Facebook was very, very early on. We're talking like 2009. MySpace was still a thing, okay? If anybody remembers MySpace, it was another platform like Facebook, kind of like the earlier edition. A little bit different, but whatever. But you could meet people, send messages, do everything. A lot of the way we talked to people back then was through messaging apps like Yahoo Messenger. That was how you did a lot of the online chats. So I didn't know anybody in Germany. I knew I wanted to go. The higher ups had already approved, like, if you want to go to Germany, just give us an address, just let us know, and this is what we'll do. Okay, let's do this. I get on MySpace. I type in Germany, looking for females. I probably searched, I cannot tell you how many hundreds of girls in Germany that I would shoot messages to. Hey, what's up? I'm a soldier in Iraq right now. My name's Luke, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking to visit Germany. I was just wondering if you could recommend some places, if you could. Wasn't asking to stay with these girls, nothing like that. I was literally saying, hey, what areas do you recommend? I want to get some tattoos while I'm there. Keeping it real casual. Bunch of girls reached out to me. Oh, I'm in Berlin. Oh, I'm in Hamburg. Some girls were in southern Germany. I'm in Munich. Met a lot of people. Met this one girl. I'll put some pictures up and everything of my trip there and everything, but her name is Melanie. Melanie seems like a really sweet person. We start talking on Yahoo Messenger. Okay? So I'd go to the internet cafe, I'd look her up, we'd type or whatever. So I'm talking to this girl. We're talking for a couple weeks. I'm like, well, look, where do you live? She says, I live in an area called Dortmund. Dortmund, Germany is about 2.5 hours, I want to say 2.5 hours south of Hamburg. It's kind of in like the middle part of Germany. And I'm talking to her. The whole time we're talking, this girl's typing. Her English is great. I'm like, okay. I've seen a couple pictures of her. Looks relatively attractive. I'm thinking, okay. I said, well, hey, look, I've kind of decided I'd like to come to that area. I'll get a hotel. We can meet up and everything. And she's like, no. Don't get a hotel. Don't get a hotel. I have a flat. A lot of Europeans, they call their apartments flats. She's like, no, I have a flat. Okay. She's like, no, you can come here and you could stay with me and my girlfriends. So, I'm thinking, okay, I'm a soldier getting ready to leave Iraq for a couple weeks, and I get to stay with a bunch of girls in a house in Germany. I'm like, all right, this sounds nice, man. Let's do this shit. I said, no, but I played it cool. I was like, nah, I don't want to intrude. Please, it's okay. We had a bunch of money stacked up from being in Iraq. I was like, no, it's all right, it's fine. I'll get a hotel. She's like, no, please, it's. I want to welcome you. Please, we would love to have you here. This would be great. So I'm thinking, okay, let's do this. So I agree. Okay, if you don't mind, I don't want to put you out that much. She's like, no, I have a couch. I have a guest room. It'll be fine. Okay, let's go to Germany. R&R comes around. Here we go. So I'm getting ready to leave Iraq. My itinerary, my flight plan, if you will. I go from Iraq to Kuwait airport. I'm with all the soldiers, and a bunch of other soldiers that are getting ready to go home, or other guys that are going to Germany. There's only about 4 guys going to Germany. I'm one of them. So like I said, Iraq to Kuwait airport. You have a bunch of people here that are guiding you, like, okay, everyone that's going here, and like, all military leaders or guys that are kind of chaperoning you to make sure you get on the right flights and everything. Everybody's going to Germany over here. Boom. A couple guys were going to Japan, a couple guys, whatever, going other places. So I get in line. I'm ready to go. I am flying into an airport called Dusseldorf. All right? Dortmund does not have an airport. Dusseldorf is about a maybe 30-minute train ride to Dortmund. So I get on this plane, and I fly to Dusseldorf airport. Melanie knew I was coming. I had her phone number. That shit was like 25 digits long. I get to the airport, and I'm expecting to see this girl. She knew what time my flight came in, everything. I'm also haven't really experienced Germany ever, so I'm at the airport. I'm excited. I'm dressed in my uniform, and I see a bar in the airport. I don't see her, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe she's not here yet. I'll call her in a minute. Let's go ahead and let's sit at the bar and have a couple of becks real quick, have a couple of beers. So I sit there, have a couple beers. I'm talking to the bartender. Her English is really great, really sweet girl. Talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, you're visiting?" I was like, "Oh yeah. I'm, on leave from Iraq and everything." I was like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to meet my friends here at the airport. They're in Dortmund. I'm supposed to meet them there at Dortmund." And she's like, "Well, that's like it's a train ride, like." They have an airport there, but it's a very small airport, or very, very, very tiny, or whatever it was. And I was like, okay. And she's like, did you think they were supposed to meet you here at Dusseldorf? Because, like, they probably are at the Dortmund one. Like, I was like, I don't know. I've already had, like, 3 or 4 beers at this point, and they don't have normal-sized beers. These fucking beers are huge. So I was like, shit, I don't know. So I get on the phone. I was like, okay, well, where's the payphone? She's like, oh, right over there. I call Melanie. She picks up. Hello. Instantly, I could tell. I've never actually spoke to this girl through the telephone. Like, I've always talked to her through chat and Messenger. Just imagine talking to, like, a 3-year-old, like, child as good as her English was. Like, I'm sure her German was flawless. But her English, not so much. All right, so I'm talking to her. I'm like, hey, where are you guys? She was like, we're not here. You are not here. What? I don't understand. You are supposed to come. And I'm like, okay. Sorry, my fake German accent isn't that great. And I'm like, well, I'm in Dusseldorf airport. Like, I'm here. And she's like, oh, it's not very far. You can get a train. I was like, okay, well, look, I'm coming. Okay, I have your address. I'm coming. All right, and it's not called streets there; they're called Straßes or whatever it is. So So, which is street in German, but so I go back to that bar. I'm like, hey, how do I get on this train? What do I got to do? She tries to explain it to me. I'm mildly intoxicated at this point. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not doing this train shit. There's cabs all out front. I go out front. I flagged this cabbie down. I was like, hey man, I need to get to Dortmund. And the guy, and I remember the bartender telling me, don't take a cab. It's going to be expensive. Take the train. Like, that's the way Europe is built. You take trains to anywhere you want to go. It's a lot cheaper. It's a reliable transportation. I'm worried because I don't speak fucking German. I'm not going to be understanding like when to get off, how much. I couldn't even understand how to pay for the fucking token to like, I don't speak German, okay? I don't speak German. So, I see this cabbie, I flag him out, hey man, I need to get to this address. Dude's like 150 euros, which is pretty much like, at that time, like $180. I don't care. I was like, whatever man, I gotta go. He's like, cool, get in the cab. Throw my bag in. Pew. Here we go. Start driving. Now you have to remember right now, I have had quite a few of these tall beers. Not that I'm drunk, but I have the bladder of like a 90-year-old woman. I have to piss. And I have to piss a lot if I'm drinking beer. When I was drinking beer. So, en route to this place, this guy's driving. He's talking to me. He's like a Indian guy. He's smoking cigarettes and stuff. He doesn't mind if I smoke. I was smoking in the back. I need to piss constantly. This guy probably stopped 4 times, and I pissed in random spots in Germany. I would just like hide behind like a bush, or like it's what I did. I mean, my back teeth were floating. I had to piss so bad. So like, I'm pissing like a racehorse constantly. We finally get about 10 minutes out to this girl's house. He's like, hey, look, it's right up here. At that point, I had enough of the cab. I'm not trying to be in it. The ride took longer than I thought it would. Because trains are direct shots. Nah, we had to go all the way around and shit. It's a pain in the butt. But I got to see a little bit of Germany on that cab ride, what I could. So, her house is like, he said, look, her house is right up there. Like, that's where you want to go. If this is the address, it's right up there. Okay, just let me out here. Here we go to her place. I'm nervous. I'm walking up with my bag, hoping this isn't a scene from the movie Hostel where they kidnap me and then harvest my organs. I'm really hoping that shit is not going to happen. But I was willing to take that risk. I'm like, can't be any worse than Iraq. Like, fuck it. So, I get there. I knock on the door. She opens the door. There's like 15 people there, man. Yelling, yeah, American. I'm like, what the fuck? These people were amazing. They welcomed me in. I'm instantly, throw your bag there. Here's a beer. Everybody spoke really, really good English. Except for Melanie. Okay? Everybody was very welcoming. People run up to me, giving me hugs. Like I'm like taking my top off, unzipping it and everything. Someone's like, oh, can I wear it? And like, I have pictures of this. I'll put all this stuff up. Some of the nicest people I have ever met in Germany. Historically, Germany might have kind of a bad rep, so I think they just have to be nice for the rest of history. Like, that's just the way it is. Very sweet people, okay? They love Americans, from what I gathered. I can't speak for today, but at that time, the people I was with, they loved Americans. Anyone I met in Germany loved Americans. And if you were an American soldier, God bless you, they fucking loved you. These girls were the sweetest, okay? Melanie, her friend Ava, Denise, all these girls, the sweetest people ever. Just so nice and kind and welcoming. Giving me a beer. Oh, Jägermeister, yeah. Like, I mean, we're getting it, man. I see where I'm going to be staying. I put my stuff in my room. Talking to Melanie as best as I can. Like I said, her English, not so hot. Sorry. But she's a very sweet girl. We are talking. There just is a language barrier. There's one girl there, smoking hot. She was Polish. She speaks German and Polish. Her English is pretty much totally non-existent. Very nice person. Her name was Jessica. We talk a lot. A lot of these chicks are baddies, dude. They are very attractive. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, Hitler was really trying to make all of these people blonde hair, blue eyes, or whatever. Like, he was trying to make an Aryan. Because I remember meeting the guys and everything. All these dudes. Bleach blonde hair, blue eyes. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I mean, like, the guys, the girls, a lot of them. I'm telling you, like, it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit. Like, a lot of these guys were just like blue collar guys, man. A lot of them worked construction, or a lot of these guys, some of these guys worked at like little, called a kiosk. It's like a little store on a strip, like where they'd sell cigarettes and alcohol or whatever. Like these were down ass people. We're hanging out in Germany. I got there in July. Great time. Absolutely wonderful time. That night, I mean, we've been drinking and partying all day. These are wonderful people. Very, very sweet. They're like, hey, we're going to show you the discotheque tonight. And I'm like, what's a discotheque? And they're like, they try to explain it, like they try to translate, like, oh, like nightclub. I'm like, oh, like a nightclub. Cool, like a club, right on. It's called a discotheque in Europe. I'm like, all right. And we're partying. We're getting it. I mean, we're having a really, really fun time. I love it here. It's a small, cozy flat. It's a beautiful, beautiful time, loving life. I'm like, all right, well, it's getting late, man. By this time, it's probably like close to midnight. I'm like, are we going to this discotheque soon? They're like, nah, it's lame right now. It's lame. We don't want to go right now. I'm like, well, what time are we going to go? They're like, I don't know, maybe like 2:30. I was like, we go to the club at 2:30 in the morning? They're like, yeah, it's open all night. I was like, it stays open all night? They were not kidding. We got to this discotheque at like 2:45. We left that bitch at 9 in the morning. Crazy German techno music. I mean, there are guys doing some funky dancing and shit. I'm laughing. I'm loving life. This was my first night in Germany. Melanie, even though there was a language barrier, Melanie had so much stuff planned for us. She really did. Like, I found the best person to stay with. The very, very sweet girl. And yes, we hooked up a couple times. It was kind of weird. Her English was kind of tough. But, like, I'm a dog. What can I say? And I also was coming back from Iraq, so that shit was happening. She had a trip for us, planned to Hamburg. Hamburg, beautiful city. The city on the water is what they call it, or whatever it is. But she had things planned for us, and I was going to be there for the next, like, 17 days. Every day we'd do something cool. Every day we'd either go to a brewery, or we'd go to a museum, or we'd go see things. I'm very close. I start to get close, more close with some of her friends than I do her, which was rude. But, like, they spoke really good English. Melanie didn't like to really exercise or anything. Her friend Ava, she was the girl that would take me to the gym. We'd go on jogs together. It was just, I got closer with them. And I feel bad because she was so welcoming to her home. I might have hooked up with one of those chicks. I'm not going to confirm or deny, but I'm just saying, like, they were really, 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 really sweet people. And I felt bad towards the end because Melanie was kind of like, well, what the fuck? I invited you here. We've hung out a couple times, but, like, I don't know. I kind of felt in some kind of way like, I wish I would have known your English was not as good as it was. But she was very welcoming. So we take this train to Hamburg. Hamburg, beautiful city. I remember thinking, this is a major city. I've only seen like one black dude here. Like, I mean, literally, other than a lot of Turkish people in Germany. I don't know why that was a thing, but that was tons of Turkish people everywhere. But, like, only one brother. I was like, this is crazy. This is a major city. And, like, it just blew my mind right there. We enjoy Hamburg. I get separated from Melanie in Hamburg. We are at a nightclub. There's a few of us. I end up parting ways with Melanie. I don't know where she is. I am lost. Alcohol probably played a big factor in that. I end up staying with two random girls in Germany, in Hamburg. Melanie's at the hotel. She booked for us in Hamburg. The next morning, I wake up next to these chicks, and I was like, what the fuck? How do I even get back to where I gotta go? But I remember I had a business card for the hotel in my pocket. I say goodbye to these chicks. I know who the fuck they were. One was like a nanny. She was actually an American being a nanny for a German family there. So I part ways with her. I go back to this hotel in the morning. Melanie is at this hotel crying. I get to the room. She's crying. She's like, I am so angry with you. Where did you go? What did you do? I'm like, I don't know. I got drunk and I walked off. Like, I don't know. You know, playing it off like that. She's like, I can't even say this in English. This chick just straight yelled at me for like 5 minutes in German. I don't know if you've ever been yelled at in German, but that is probably the most intense shit ever. Ich weine an schneiden. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm like looking at this chick like terrified, man. I'm like, holy shit. Is she gonna kill me? Like, what the fuck? She is, she's laying it on me. And I said, look, I'm so sorry. I just got detached from you. I didn't know how to get a hold of you. Like, I didn't have I didn't have my cell phone. I didn't have any of this shit. Like, I don't know what to say. So that was Hamburg. Okay. This is coming towards the end of our trip. And the whole time I've been nothing but partying and just visiting these places and loving life and having a really good time. We get ready to part ways. I do an American barbecue for them. All right. Like, they don't really know what barbecues are. So we go to their grocery store, which always amazed me, the fact that you could take your empties of beer bottles and things like that, return them to the grocery store, and they would give you new beers. Like, that's how recycling and shit works there. We'd take like 20 bottles of beer. You'd come back with like 4 full beers. Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. But Germany had their shit together on a lot of different things. So I am on the tail end of being there. I'm like, let's do this barbecue. I buy a bunch of meat. I buy a bunch of charcoal. We go to a centralized park there. All her friends. I'll put a picture up of it. I do a barbecue for them. I cook for them. Not that I'm an amazing chef, but it's burgers and hot dogs and sausages and other kind of German meats they had. Shit was amazing. I'm getting ready to leave. Okay, so my time here in Germany is done. I talked to Melanie. She's a sweet girl. She always was. Very, like I said, very hospitable. I said, I'm sorry that, like, we didn't get closer for this. And she's like, well, it's no problem. Like, it's, you know, and she's like, it's okay. Like, and she was honest. She was like, I should have said my English is... She would use profanity in the wrong times. Like, I never understood this. Just say, she'd be like, my English fucking not so good. I'd be like, all right, well, you kind of used that wrong, but whatever, doesn't matter. But she was honest, and we were cool. We hugged, we parted ways. I get on the train that they actually purchased a ticket for me, that takes me to Dusseldorf. I fly back to Kuwait to Iraq. All my buddies like, I can't believe you made it back alive. One of the coolest experiences I ever had. I loved it. It was amazing. I strongly recommend, if you ever get a chance to go to Germany, do it. But that is the story of Germany, how I ended up there. I'm sure there's a lot more I'm missing out on this story. It'll come back to me. But for today, I got to kick this video out. We're going to be gone for 2 days. Got my little girl. So, hey, get you some content. Guys, thank you so much. Please enjoy your day. Enjoy your life. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all take care.